Hello guys and welcome back. In this video we will talk about how to create the kill zone, a place that will kill the player. Actually it is down here, that if the player goes to that place, if the player falls down, it's gonna kill the player. And also we will have a lives count in here that will count our lives, and if we drop to 0 then we will totally die. All right, so we will do something like this. If we've got like 3 lives, if we die one time it will be 2, then 1, then 0, and then if we die again we will die totally in the game. All right, so let's start doing that right now. All right, so in order to do that, first of all what we need is to go to the BP ball mode. All right, we want to go to the game mode and then create a variable in here which is called the player lives, or actually we can call it total lives. All right, total lives. Okay, we can call it like that. And also make sure it is not a boolean but it is an integer, and hit compile and save. Make sure it is something like 2 or 3 should be fine. Let's give it a 3 lives in total. All right, so that this will be the total lives of a player that has before it dies totally. So what we need in here is actually we will need to create a kill zone. All right, so that if the player falls down and hits that zone it's gonna die. All right, so let's do that now. All right, so click in here, right click in here, and then click blueprint, and then click the actor. And what should we call it? Actually we want to call it BP kill zone should be fine. BP kill zone. All right, open it up, and then in here in the add component we only want to add a single component, which is a box collision. All right, so that if the player hits that box collision it's gonna die. All right, okay, so hit compile and then save, and then go to the event graph. And in here what we want to do is in the event actor begin overlap. All right, grab that pin and then say if the other actor is cast it to BP ball pound. All right, so if the other actor is the ball pound, all right, we want to kill the player. All right, we want to have a function that's gonna kill the player, but actually right now we do not have any functions that's gonna kill the player. So what should we do? Actually what we need to do is to go to the BP ball mode and then create a function that is gonna kill the player. All right, so what we want to do in here is to go and add a function in the BP ball mode, which is the game mode. All right, we want to add a function that is gonna kill the player. All right, so go to the functions in here and then click add function and then call it kill player. All right, so that this function is gonna kill the player. We want to get the player. All right, we want to get the ball, okay, and then we want to kill it. So how we do that? We want to create an input in here. Click that new parameter to create an input for the function. All right, click that new parameter and then call it player ball, so that this will be the ball that we are playing with. So instead of boolean, what we want to do is to make sure that it is type is BP ball pound. All right, so what we want to say is that we are going to give you a ball and you have to destroy it. All right, so we are going to say to this function, all right, when we call this function we want to give it an input which is the ball that we are playing with. All right, so that's why we want to make the type to be a BP ball pound, and it has to be the object reference. All right, so make sure that you type BP ball pound and then you select the object reference of the BP ball pound. All right, so that makes sure that whenever we give it an input, whenever we give the kill player function an input, that input should be a ball. All right, so we will give it a ball and then this function will kill the ball. Okay, so hit compile and then save. All right, and then what we want to do is to grab this pin. All right, so we want to grab the ball and then say destroy actor. All right, so let me type it, destroy actor. All right, this is the destroy actor, which is gonna kill the player. All right, destroy actor means that whatever we give it as a value in that bin, all right, it's gonna destroy it from the game. So if it is in here in the game, if the ball is wherever it is, all right, if that function goes where it is, if that function goes, it's gonna kill it, because we will give it the ball and the ball is gonna be destroyed by that node. All right, and after that, after we destroy the actor, what do we want to do is to get the total lives. All right, get it, and then grab that pin and then type negative negative. All right, if you type negative negative, if you type 2 times negative, it's gonna bring us to decrement int. All right, this is gonna decrement the integer. What decrement means? Decrement means that if the total lives is 3, now it's make sure that it's gonna be 2. All right, so it's gonna decrement it by 1 value. All right, so this is, all right, this 2 is the same as if we get the total lives and then grab it and then set the total lives. All right, and then grab that pin and then type minus integer minus 1, and that will be like this. All right, so what this does, it's gonna get the total lives and then minuses it by 1, so it will be 2. All right, because the total lives was 3, now it will be 2, and then it sets the total lives again to that number. All right, so the total lives now will be 2. Okay, so it was 3 minus 1, it will be 2, and it will be set to 2. All right, so this is the same as that one, but this is much easier to use. Instead of writing this much, you only want to grab the total lives and then decrement from it. All right, so let me delete that. So this minus minus makes sure that it's gonna take 1 away from the total lives. All right, so hit compile and then save, and this is all that we needed in the kill player. So let's jump back to the BP kill zone. All right, in the BP kill zone, after we make sure that it is a ball, what we want to do is to right click and then type get game mode. All right, we want to get the game mode and then type cast it to BP ball mode. All right, let me connect those. Okay, and then make sure that as the BP ball mode, we want to call the function that we just created. We want to call kill player. All right, and if you remember, we created an input for the kill player. All right, we created an input for the kill player which needs the ball. All right, it needs the player ball. So what we want to do is to, whenever the ball in here, it says even actor begin overlap, so it says if this actor has been overlapped, or in other words, if this actor has been, something else has gone into that actor, what we want to do is to cast it to BP ball bound. So make sure that it is a ball. So if it is the ball, then do these things. So if it is the ball, what we want to do, we want to get the ball and then put it in here. All right, did you get it? All right, so all it says, let me grab another one into here, a reroute node, and then let me make sure that there is space to see it clear. All right, so what we did right now, we created a function in here which is gonna kill the player. All right, it's a function with an input that needs the ball. All right, it's gonna destroy the ball and then decrement a life from it. And after that, in here, where did we call it? We called it in here in the kill zone. All right, in the zone that we wanted to kill the player. Okay, so we say that whenever something overlaps with that node, all right, overlaps into this blueprint, overlaps into this actor, what we want to do is make sure that if it is the ball, then we want to call the kill player function in the BP ball mode. And then for the kill player, we will need an input, which was the ball, and then we grabbed that ball into here. All right, let me hit compile and then save, and let me close that one and also close that one, and let's see if that works. All right, so what we want to do is to grab that BP killzone, all right, the killzone blueprint, and then make sure that actually let me make it to the center. All right, the center is here, and then make sure that it is down by make sure that it is a reasonable space. It has a reasonable space between the ground and the kill zone. And then what we want to do is deselect the lock in here, and then in the x-axis maybe I should type 2000. All right, let me see if that is a lot. Oh, actually that's a lot. Okay, let me type 1000 instead. We could do smaller, but I'm just gonna go with it. Okay, maybe 500 was some reasonable. Okay, that's just fine. Okay, and then on the y-axis we want to type the same thing, 1000, right, so that it covers the entire space. And on the z-axis make sure it is something like 100 maybe. Nah, 100 is a lot, so make sure it is 30. Okay, maybe 30 was better, and take it down just a little bit. Okay, so let's test it out. We can collect, and right now you can see we did not do the UI. We will do the UI in a bit. Just let's see. Yeah, our player dies, so let's start doing the UI. All right, let's get back to here, and let's see how we should do the UI. Let's go to the player HUD, and then go to here, and after that what we want to do is to grab a text and take it to here, and then we just want to make this really quickly. So what we want to call it is to say lives, and then make sure to have a space. All right, so make sure that they will have a space between them. Okay, and hit enter on your keyboard. You do not even have to have the space because we are not doing them together, but I just like to have a space. Okay, and then after that what we want to do is to grab another text and take it next to it. Make sure to name the first one to be maybe text lives. All right, text lives, and the other one what we want to call it is to make sure it is called lives count or something like that. Okay, and in the text block take it to here, and make sure the lives count is something like, make it 9. All right, so that make sure that it can fit its space into here. All right, and after that what we want to do, do you want to make that one to be a variable? Actually not. All right, do you remember we said that we've got two types of creating our UIs? One of them was the type that we did it with variables. I told you that we've got the variable type, and also we've got the binding type in here. All right, so we did this too with the variable type. All right, which is, you know, a lot better for the computer. All right, it might take a little bit time, but it is much better for the computer. But also I told you that we've got another type, which is the binding. The binding, it's gonna do it every single frame, so maybe it's gonna do it 60 times in only just 1 second. So that will be an overhead on the computer, but I want to show you how it is done, so that's why I'm gonna do that. All right, so we will do the lives count with the binding. All right, so select the binding and then click that create binding plus function. All right, click it, and then after that you can see that will be greeted with this. We will come to here. All right, you see that we are not any longer in the designers tab, we are in the graph tab, and we are in this function. All right, so and that function is called get lives count text. All right, it's a default name that has been created. All right, so it creates a function for us because we created the binding. It's gonna create a function for us which has a return node in order to return the text. All right, so what we want to do right now, it is very easier because we did it with the binding. I told you it is very easier than the others, but it's gonna take some time for the computer to do it. All right, so let's see how it is done. What we want to do, because our lives count was in the ball mode, right? You can see that the total lives in the BP ball mode. So what we want to do is to right click and then type get the game mode. All right, we want to get the game mode and then grab that and then type cast it to BP ball mode. All right, and after that, let me connect those. Okay, let me connect those. And after that, what we want to do as the BP ball mode, grab that one and then type get total lives. All right, get total lives. It's gonna get that total lives in here, the variable that we created. It's gonna get the total lives, and then just make sure that you put that pin into that pin, and it's gonna convert it by itself. So that's it. Yeah. All of the things that we did, let me hit compile and save and then go to the designers tab. All of the things that we did with the coin value and the health bar, we could do it in these simple steps. All right, you see that it was very, very simple to create this, and that's it. Right now, if I hit play, we'll see in a bit. That's it. All right, it is as easy as it sounds. All right, but this is gonna create an overhead, and because in a second it's gonna check all of these nodes 60 times. All right, 60 times goes from here to here to here to here to here to here, and it goes on again in only 1 second. So that's gonna make some overhead on the computer, so try to avoid this. And I just wanted to show you that this one is much easier. You could do it like this, but don't use this if you have the other option. All right, so we created the others with variables. All right, try to do it with the variables. This is an exercise for you. All right, try to do the text, all right, for the lives count with the variables. You see that we did it with the coin value. It's exactly the same. Okay, just try to do it and don't let me down. All right. Okay, so let's go to the graph, and you see that we've done it. Okay, so hit compile and then hit save, and it should be in here. So let's see. You see that in here, all right? In here it says lives 3. If I go down, it should say lives 2. Boom. Yeah, right now you see that it says lives 2. And actually I don't like the health bar, and also I don't like the lives. Let me make sure that they are a little bit bigger so that we could see them better. All right, let me go to the designers, and in the lives, make sure that it is size is something like 30, right? And take it up a little bit, and that one as well. Make sure that one is 30 as well, right? So that we can see it better. Okay. Yep. And also for the image, you can see that if I hit compile and then save, okay, if I hit play right now, you can see that my image looks a little bit like it has been stretched. Okay, actually I don't want that. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the player HUD, and alright, I want to tell you something. There is something in here that is gonna let me go to the image health and then click that size to content. So what does that mean? It's gonna make the size of this based on its content. All right, so for example, if I hit that, you can see that my image is going to be a little bit smaller and it's not stretched at all. But what it is actually going to do is gonna bring the, let me go to here and let me go to the textures. You see that in here. Let me click on its properties and then go to the details, and let me see where it is. Okay, it's gonna bring the dimensions. All right, you see that the dimensions, its width is 400 pixels and its height is 60 pixels. It's gonna bring that dimension, all right, to here. All right, so it's gonna create the image based on its original dimensions that we brought it to Unreal Engine. And if I did this, so let me bring the health bar to here and make sure that the health bar right now fits yeah, I think they fit. Okay, I think okay. And also actually, but there's something about this. Okay, so for an image like this, for the coin UI, if I see that in the coin UI, let's test it out how it is properties are done. So right now you can see that its dimensions are 512 by 512. All right, so it's if I hit size to content, it's gonna create an image with 512 and 512, which might be a little bit bigger than this one because it's not 512 by 512. So let's see what it's gonna do, right? Oh my god, you can see that right now its size is going to be, you see that in here in the image size, it's gonna be 512 by 512, which is something that we don't want. Okay, just click that one, the size to content again. I mean, don't click it. All right, deselect it or whatever you want to call it, and then hit compile and then save. And right now everything should be fine. Let me play it again. Yeah, I think the health bar, actually we could make the health bar a little bit bigger, but I don't care that much. Okay, okay, so you can see that if my health goes down to 0, we don't die. All right, so we've got that problem, and also if we die, we are not going to respawn at all. We've got lots of problems. No worries, we're gonna solve the problems in the next video. All right, in the next video we will do the spawning system, and also if we have time left, we might do the you know, dying with the cactuses. All right, so if our health goes down to 0, like this, yeah, like this, then we will die. All right, right now we are not gonna die, and if we go down, you can see that our lives count goes to 2. And in the next video we will make sure that we can respawn and then, you know, play the game again till we reach 0 lives. All right, guys, I really hope you learned something new today, and I'll be very, very happy to see your honest reviews. So if you want to tell me anything, if you want me to improve anything, or you just have a word in your chest that you want to take it out, all right, just tell me whatever you want me to improve, whatever you want me to add into the game, or just make a review so that other people can see them. All right, just do a review if you want to. All right, I hope you learned something new today, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.